Everybody calls me Stoney, and I always say that's because I'm stoned all the time. But the truth of the matter is I never have used a drug. I drink wine socially, and years ago I was pretty interested in martinis, 2 or 3 at the most. But I think people have different affinity for alcohol. Some people can drink a whole lot, and some people can just drink a little, and some can't drink at all. But I'm hoping that when Aeron takes these down to Denver, that they will in fact help some of these homeless guys and get them off the street. Well, I'm Stoney Stonebreaker. I'm an old guy, 91 years old, and I've been married to Dorothy since 1942. And we've been married now almost 71 years. And we live in Boulder, Colorado, and you know, we plan to live 960 years like Methuselah. But at least we're going to live long enough to see some real progress, see people living happier, more enthusiastic, more creative, and more productive lives. People now live with a roof over their head, and they hardly ever go out in the sun. And we're told don't go out in the sun because you get sunburn and skin cancer. And but everybody knows the sunlight gives you vitamin D, and the medical profession says take a supplement. Don't go out and get sunburned. But these lights don't burn you. They don't sunburn you. And they have the same effect as the sunlight. You probably get vitamin D from them even. Who knows? But anyway, what Aeron is trying to do, and what Dorothy, my wife, is the prime mover when it comes to taking care of people who are down and out. Dorothy actually went to Alabama back in the 60s and marched with Martin Luther King to help the blacks. And now we've been helping Latinos and homeless and schizophrenics. And I feel very strongly that everything that Aeron is trying to do with these Tesla energy lights is to help people of all color and all race and all religion. I'm all for getting them out in the world where everybody has a chance to spend a few minutes every day on the lights. I'm quite knowledgeable about alcoholism because I think my father was an alcoholic, but he died when I was 4 years old. And then my mother later fell in love with a real alcoholic, and they ultimately got a divorce because he played poker and lost all the money during the Great Depression, and he bought port wine by the gallon. In those days you could buy it for $1 a gallon. And anyway, that led to their splitting up. But then my mom married another alcoholic. He was a guy who, they call him white knuckle. He just didn't drink anymore, but he became obsessed with cleanliness. So I was always interested in him. It turns out my oldest son is an AA advocate, and he uses AA to keep from drinking. Dorothy and I bought these lights with the idea that it might help circulation in her left leg. She had a serious phlebitis in the leg when my second son was born, and it had plagued her for 60 years. And I thought it might help her. And my son, one of my sons, has trouble with insomnia. And we got the lights thinking that might help him. But in the back of my mind, I really bought the lights to try to help homeless people and throwaway kids and schizophrenics and alcoholics or whatever. Aeron is associated with the bigger community in Denver, and he has made arrangements to do what I had in mind in the first place, was to buy these lights and use them to help people, particularly the homeless. And that's what, this is probably the first effort like this in the world, where we're taking these Tesla energy lights down to a homeless facility that is trying to help people who have a drinking problem. And I'm very excited about the fact that Aeron's going to take these today down to Denver and use them for a month, and then we'll know whether they work or not. He's got a large population to deal with, and if they work in Denver, then we'll put them in Sedona, and we'll put them in San Francisco and throughout the whole world. I give him permission to use what I've said here in any way that he sees appropriate.
Hi, I'm Nancy Robley. I'm the Executive Director with Axe Resource Center. We're here in Denver, Colorado, and we have a shelter and for the homeless, veterans and homeless men. And we also have a food bank feeding over 10,000 people a month with our food bank. And so here we are, and we've been given the opportunity to have Tesla energy lights come and come to our center, and we're going to see what we can do, given the opportunity, which I want to mention. Stoney and Dorothy in Boulder, Colorado, are giving us these Tesla lights to use for the next 30 days, so we're really excited that we have this opportunity. And I used the Tesla energy lights a couple of weeks ago, and just in my own use of the lights, I was amazed. I've got my own physical stuff that I have going on, and I have been doing nothing but talking about Tesla lights ever since, and couldn't wait to get the Tesla lights to come into our center here, so we could allow all of our people here. We've got 35 guys who live here at the shelter, and so we want to see what benefits we can get for these other guys. And so, just for myself in using it, just the one time I was diagnosed with environmental illness and multiple chemical sensitivity back in '92, and have had a lot of physical, emotional problems going on with that, that physical problem. And I noticed after using the lights that I was able to do things I wasn't able to do before. After leaving here at the Axe Center, I went home, and we had a flood in our home. And normally speaking, that would have not been, I would have been really thrown out of the loop with emotions with that, and a lot of stress. And I just thought, oh, okay, well, let's see, what do I have to do here? I have to go to Home Depot, and I have to get a shop vac, and we got to clean up some water. And so sure enough, I went to Home Depot. Well, I was at Home Depot. I like to tell this story because it's unusual. Going into Home Depot, there's a lot of chemical smells, and I was exposed to the automotive section with the tires, and normally that would just have, the chemical sensitivities would have really sent me. and with a lot of reactions. And so I'm in that department for with a lot of exposure for quite a length of time, and I'm noticing that I'm not going into that gagging stage where I can't breathe, and I thought that was unique, and because I hadn't, that would be my normal reaction that I would have with that exposure. And I came home after I purchased the shop vac, and was able to help my husband to clean up the flood, the water, and did that without any stress build up, and slept very well that night. And so I was like, okay, I was very anxious to have another session, so I'm going to be having that soon. So we are being given this opportunity with our guys here to make a difference in their lives, and I'm really excited about that, because if you know anything about working with the homeless, I've been doing this for several years now. 2009 is when I actually started the homeless shelter, but in 2004 is when I started dealing with the homeless, and having been around them, I saw they don't have a future. They don't have any goals. They have a lot of despair in their life, and it's very disheartening. And so, what we have done for them here is we've given them a safe environment to come to, and we've tried to give them goal setting and life skills, and we try to build their lives up. A homeless person is homeless because they've got a lot of stuff going on in their life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and so it takes all of that to help them to get their lives back. We had Wes, who found us, and he found us because he came from a background of alcohol dependency, and when I heard that, I thought, oh my goodness, those are the people that we always have trouble helping. And so if the energy lights can help one person, I'm just so excited to see how they're going to be able, to help the next person and the next, because we have some struggling here, and it always breaks my heart to have to tell them, look, we can't help you. We're going to have to see if somebody else can help you out there. And usually if you don't have the money, if you don't have the financial resources, to go into one of these places for alcohol treatment, you don't get the help, the good help. And so I'm just thankful that Wes found us, because this has always been my heart, to want to help people who have a dependency on alcohol, drugs. I've got my husband and I both have physical problems, and so I am so looking forward to seeing how it's going to help us, so we can have the energy to do more of what we're doing here, what we're called to do, because God has put us here to do this. And I just think that this is a godsend in wanting to help us so that we can continue and take that next step to help others in a more helpful way. So what we're hoping to do is to give them that energy, to help them to get their goals back, to help them to get their lives back. And so I'm just very excited about wanting to see what the Tesla energy lights are going to do for each person that we have here. And we're going to be documenting that. We're going to start from A to Z and see what it does for them. And I'm hoping to be able to come back and share with you some of the positive, full impact, spirit, soul, body, physically, emotionally, mentally, the whole impact. I am going to now have a session with the Tesla energy lights, and I'm going to come back and we're going to see if my brain works any better. Well, I just had a session, so I was telling Aeron that I'm feeling very relaxed, stress-free, and energized. Aeron, I give you permission to use this video for study and research. Thank you, Stoney.
Hi, my name is Michael Hoffmeister. I'm the General Operations Manager, the Resident Manager, and the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here at Axe Resource Center. We're a educational facility for homeless people. Our objective is to change your attitude, change your life skills, and bring out the more positive aspects of your nature so that you don't have to be homeless anymore. We're based on good old-fashioned Skinnerian conditioning. We try to keep it as simple as we can. And we try to be the most positive institution of our kind in the town. And this gives us a definite challenge. For example, we can get people to the point where they realize they have a problem and then they have to turn inside for the solution. We have to keep them feeling good about themselves, so their overall attitude is extremely important to us. Unfortunately, we run across a lot of people with challenges, some of them fairly minor like ADD and some of them extremely severe. And these people have had traumatic lifetimes up to this point, so they don't think they can do it. It's very important to me to try to keep these people feeling good about themselves, to feel good about the world around them, and to address their challenges as though they were solvable. It's very important to me to keep them healthy, of course, in all kinds of ways. And I'm interested in the effects that the lights will have towards that end. If we can keep them positive, if we can keep them proud, that changes everything. Right now we have about 35 men here, and needless to say, that means that we're stretched rather thin. There's myself and one other fellow who's doing the work here. We're in a rough section of town. That's how we get the people in here, but unfortunately that also means that the temptations are always right outside the door. The temptations that we have been trying to eliminate from their lives include alcohol. There's a liquor store right across the street. Prostitutes, well, never mind, they're everywhere. And drugs, most especially the drugs. We have to deal with drugs from cocaine all the way to quercetin. We recently had a fellow that was eating 3 boxes of that a day. So I've got to do something to replace these crutches. They're self-medicating. What they're doing isn't bad. What they're doing is desperate. And if I can give them something else that will take the place of these drugs, these crutches, then I've definitely won half the battle right there. The one thing that I really can't do much about is attitude. If I can find a silver bullet that will help me with attitude, I'll jump right on that train anytime. Right now, the only thing we can do with attitude is get them working as a team, get them trained to do things that we know will help them, and just give it time. And sometimes the time is the one thing that we really don't have. So what I'm hoping to do is open up another branch to this facility, much larger, in a town, say Broomfield, where they won't have the temptations right outside the door, where they won't have their old friends trying to invite them out for a good time. On a severe night in Denver, you have about 1,200 people on the streets. That's assuming that every bed in Denver that can hold a homeless person is holding one. You still have 1,200 people sleeping literally on the streets. Maybe they're sleeping in the woods, maybe they're sleeping back behind a chair, stuck with a couple blankets on top of it behind a church, but they're out there in the cold. And they drink, some of them, to alleviate the pain, and who can blame them for that? I can't, at least not until I give them a better place to stay. These people are getting frostbite, and they just slough it off. It's just frostbite. But you get enough frostbite and you lose your feet, like at least one person I know of. You won't read about it in the newspapers, but they die out there too. You don't read about it in the newspapers, but there are gangs that run through the area by the river and just beat these people for the fun of beating them. If we ignore this as a society, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We need to fix this. This is an emergency. And anybody who thinks that they're far away from this situation better take another look. You're like 2 paychecks away from homelessness. And in this economy, that can happen to anybody. I used to be a well-paid engineer. We have bank accountants here. We have company executives. You name the profession, I've seen them come through here. So this is all of our problems. This isn't just their problem. Everybody likes to think it's not going to happen to them, but it does. If I can get them to the point where they consider themselves worth saving, that will change everything. You'll do better talking to them individually and asking them how they feel about themselves. Would anybody cry if you died? Are your children proud of you? You know, tough questions too, but these are the questions these guys just can't answer. You'll hear stories about things that parents have done to their children that just take your breath away. One person I'm thinking of who was abused sexually by his father from the age of 4 on to, I don't know, somewhere in his teens. Finally ran away from home. Went through several relationships with women, all of which took all of his money and took off on him. And as far as he's concerned, this is just life. This is how we all are. And bit by bit, he's coming around to realize, no, this isn't how we all are. And by the way, here's a friend for you over here. Here's somebody who really cares about you. And you can care about him too, and it's safe. If we can get them to the point where they bounce out of bed, where they run down the hall looking for their buddy, where they're singing under their breath all the time, that's a whole different world for them. This could not be more important. This is an absolute 10 as far as I'm concerned in this organization. How they feel about themselves. Now, if the Tesla energy lights can help me with that, I am so thankful. I am so thankful. That is the silver bullet I've been looking for. I've heard earlier research about positive and negative ion fields, and I've never really gotten close enough to the devices to make a decision of my own. One of my heroes has always been Nikola Tesla, by the way. So I need all the leverage I can get to get these guys back to the world. And if you can help me with that, as far as I'm concerned, it's a gift from God. We exist to help these guys get back on track. And this is exactly what I've been looking for. I couldn't ask for anything more, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out.
Hi, I'm Wesley Ariki. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and the reason I'm here today is to share some experiences that I've had in the past that have helped me to get me to this point of my recovery, and that maybe in sharing some of my past experiences with you with the alcohol troubles, that it could be of some help to people in the future that do have these problems with the terrible drug of alcohol. My recovery has been in place now for almost 6 years. Prior to me quitting alcohol, I didn't do it automatic or very abruptly. It was over a matter of time, and I truly don't feel that I had enough energy to ever even think about quitting. Tesla Energy Lights, I feel, had a big influence on everything that took place in my recovery. At first, when I started utilizing Tesla Energy Lights, I really didn't know what they were all about and didn't really care. All I knew is that I wanted to stop drinking and didn't know how and couldn't do it by myself. I met a gentleman by the name of Aeron who introduced me to Tesla Energy Lights. All I wanted was a dose of what he had to see if it could help in my drinking issues. So I started utilizing the lights about 5 years ago. At the time I was drinking. The lights made a difference in just the ability to abstain from alcohol, which if anybody has had a problem with alcohol knows after even so many days of being dry and sober how gut-wrenching it could be in that you do need that drink or that you want that drink, and I was up to like a fifth a day of either vodka or Scotch whiskey. It didn't matter to me. I was just looking at it to kill pain. I figured out that, hey, you know, I wanted to quit drinking, and that I just couldn't find a way. There was AA, there was counseling, there was the drug and alcohol classes, level 2 I went through. None of them seemed to even make a difference, because even when I went through all my drug therapy classes. Quite honestly, I feel bad about it because, you know, I did have a driving under the influence ticket and was given the reprimand of doing the classes, and even in those classes, after class, the group members and I would go out and drink. So what I found out is that since I've been sober, that I look back, that the lights had an incredible empowerment for my own well-being to just quit alcohol. I can't explain how, why, but in using and staying around the lights, and Aeron being nice enough to let me do sessions with the lights, I was able to beat alcohol for now. I haven't touched a drop since that day I quit, which was cold turkey, and that was from a fifth a day to 0 alcohol the next day, and I haven't looked back for almost close to 6 years now. And we've had these lights generously donated by a gentleman who is 92 years old, and I had the pleasure of meeting the other day, and his whole goal, I asked him why he wanted these lights around him, because he purchased the set, was so he could have quality and a little more longevity to get the few things done that he wanted to, goals, see to come to fruition in his lifetime. To me, it kind of fits into where my story goes, because about a year ago, I haven't drank, I said, but a year ago I quit kind of using the lights, figuring, well, I'm into recovery, I'm feeling good, I don't need them anymore. But then I had a couple of parents that died, a brother that passed away, and it seemed like I was back into a real low depression, but I didn't go back to drinking. The lights have since then shown me that there's positive value, positive energy needed in order to hold on to or embrace this recovery that I'm in. This homeless shelter, I can actually really feel of what these people are going through, because I've been behind the bottle and I've felt like zero of no value, and therefore when your self-esteem is gone, pretty much you're just hanging around and hanging out and not really doing anything except breathing and eating and living. There's really no purpose. I think that's real important, that a person locates within themselves their own individual purpose. I feel to now I can become a productive producer in the society. Now I can clearly sit here and tell you 5 years later, from when it's first introduced of Tesla Energy Lights, that it was a God-sent thing to me. These are my goals right now, and I want to be involved because they're going to keep me close to the lights. The reason I want to be close to the lights is because they're going to keep me empowered to do the things that I want to do in this lifetime, to live and to enjoy the way God, our man up there upstairs, meant for us to be as men on this earth, and that was to thrive. It opened up a new avenue of me, of where I think people need to tap into for experience of recovery. I thank Stoney for just giving them the opportunity to feel a little bit better, because he was right. He was really right that these people are caught up in an arena and so stressed out right now, they don't know which way to turn. And all of a sudden, with a little bit of this energy input, I'm only moving forward and upward now. Geez, I can really honestly say for the first time in my life, I don't even miss it, because there's so many other good things that have come about. Because maybe your energy is low.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I can barely
Let's see
get
what
up.
happens
And I
to you,
barely
Robert.
want to get up.
How about it, okay?
All right.
Hey,
Yeah, sure.
let's ask you a question.
Sure.
What would your estimation be of how much stress that you hold in you right now?
More than a man should have to bear.
Okay,
Truly.
so on a 1 to 10 scale, where would you be?
Close to a 9.
Okay, so why don't we make the mark of how this can help you by the amount of stress you feel after your session.
Okay.
And you can then measure, if it's a 9 now, what will it be afterwards? And it's purely your subjective opinion. I mean, because you know yourself better, no one can
Right.
tell you that.
Sure.
And I think you'll find a difference. And my invitation to you is that if you have less stress, maybe some of these things that you want to accomplish will become more easier with the God that you're praying and talking to.
Right, for sure. Alrighty. Well, I'm game.
Cool.
Give it a shot, you know what I mean? Don't knock it until you try it.
That's right.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
The same God talking to us all, though, man, and thank you.
For sure.
He got you in there.
Alright, I'll go down there with you, for sure. Right, for sure.
That's it. You ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Let all the negative go and fill with positive, baby.
So now that you're sitting up and you've had a Tesla Energy Lights session
Okay.
and your stress level was at a 9, where would you evaluate it now?
Definitely lower. I can't be exact on the number because it feels like it kind of flatlined it there.